Hey, remember that time you accidentally spent 3 hours scrolling through cat videos on the internet? We've all been there. It starts innocently enough, right? You're just looking for a quick distraction, a brief escape from the daily grind, but before you know it, you're deep down the rabbit hole, lost in an endless stream of content. It's almost like time stands still and you're caught in a trance, unable to break free. But let's be honest, sometimes it feels less like cute cats and more like staring into a swirling vortex of negativity. You start with a funny meme, but soon you're bombarded with news articles about disasters, political turmoil, and social injustices. It's overwhelming, and it's hard to look away. The more you scroll, the more you feel the weight of the world pressing down on you. You know what I'm talking about, doom scrolling, that compulsive need to keep scrolling through bad news even when it's making you feel worse. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You know it's not good for you, but you just can't stop. The anxiety builds, and yet you keep going, hoping to find something, anything that will make it all make sense. That insatiable urge to keep refreshing our feeds, even when we know it's filled with bad news, political rants, and people trying to sell us things we don't need. It's a vicious cycle. You refresh, you see something upsetting, you feel a surge of emotion, and then you refresh again, hoping for a different outcome. But it's always the same, and it's never enough. It's like we're addicted to the outrage, the fear, the sheer absurdity of it all. We crave the emotional highs and lows, the drama, the conflict. It's a roller coaster ride that we willingly strap ourselves into, even though we know it's making us sick. And the worst part, we're not alone. Millions of people are doing the exact same thing, feeding into the collective anxiety and despair, and social media companies, well, they're practically handing us the shovels to keep digging ourselves deeper. They design their platforms to be addictive, to keep us coming back for more. Every notification, every like, every comment is a hit of dopamine, a little reward that keeps us hooked. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're not afraid to exploit our vulnerabilities. They track our every click, every like, every minute we spend glued to their platforms. They collect data on our habits, our preferences, our fears, and they use it to keep us engaged. It's a sophisticated system designed to maximize our time on their sites, to keep us scrolling, clicking, and consuming. And the more we engage, the more they learn about us, and the better they get at keeping us hooked. They know what keeps us hooked, and they're not afraid to exploit it. They feed us content that triggers strong emotions, that keeps us engaged and coming back for more. It's a never-ending cycle of stimulation and reward designed to keep us addicted. And the more we consume, the more they profit. It's a business model built on our attention, our time, and our mental health. But here's the thing, this constant barrage of negativity takes a toll. It wears us down, it drains our energy, it affects our mood. We become more anxious, more depressed, more disconnected from the world around us. We start to see the world through a lens of fear and despair, and it's hard to break free. The more we consume, the worse we feel, and the harder it is to stop. It affects our mental health, our relationships, our ability to function in the real world. We become more isolated, more irritable, more disconnected from the people we care about. We spend less time engaging with the world around us and more time lost in the digital abyss. It's a lonely, isolating experience, and it's taking a toll on our well-being. And for what? A fleeting sense of connection, a dopamine hit from a stranger's approval? It's a hollow reward, a temporary fix that leaves us craving more. We chase after likes, comments, and shares, hoping to fill the void, but it's never enough. The more we seek validation online, the more we lose touch with what really matters. It's time to step back from the abyss and ask ourselves, is this really the way we want to live? Do we want to spend our lives glued to our screens, chasing after fleeting moments of validation? Or do we want to reconnect with the world around us, to find meaning and purpose beyond the digital realm? It's a choice we all have to make, and it starts with taking a step back, putting down our phones and looking up at the world around us. Let's talk about the mental health elephant in the room, or should I say, the elephant in our feeds. Social media, for all its supposed connection, can be a breeding ground for anxiety, depression, and a whole host of other mental health issues. Think about it, we're constantly bombarded with images of picture-perfect lives, exotic vacations, flawless bodies, seemingly effortless success. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparison, to feel like we're not good enough, not thin enough, not successful enough. And let's not forget the pressure to maintain a perfect online persona. Every post, every comment, every selfie becomes a performance, a carefully curated version of ourselves that we present to the world. It's exhausting. The constant notifications, the fear of missing out, FOMO, the relentless pursuit of likes and followers, it all adds up, creating a perfect storm for anxiety and stress. We're wired to crave connection, but social media often leaves us feeling more isolated and alone. Remember when privacy was considered a fundamental right, not a bargaining chip? Yeah, me too. There was a time when the idea of someone knowing your every move, your every thought, was the stuff of dystopian fiction. We cherished our privacy, guarded it fiercely, and viewed any intrusion as a violation of our personal space. But oh, how times have changed. But in the age of social media, it seems like we've traded our privacy for likes and shares without a second thought. We post our lives online, sharing intimate details with not just friends and family, but with strangers and corporations. Every like, every share, every comment is a tiny piece of our privacy chipped away. We willingly hand over mountains of personal data, our names, locations, browsing histories, even our facial recognition data to these tech giants. And it's not just the obvious data we give away. Every click, every pause, every scroll is meticulously tracked and analyzed. Our digital footprints are more like digital blueprints, detailed maps of our lives that we hand over without a second thought. And what do we get in return? Targeted advertising, creepy stalkerish features, and the nagging feeling that someone, somewhere, is always watching. Our data is used to manipulate us, to predict our behavior, to sell us things we didn't even know we wanted. It's a trade-off that many of us make without fully understanding the consequences. And let's not forget about the data breaches. These breaches expose our most sensitive information, leaving us vulnerable to identity theft and other forms of cybercrime. It's a stark reminder that our data is never truly safe, no matter how many security measures are in place. It seems like every other week we hear about another company failing to protect our information, leaving our sensitive data vulnerable to hackers and identity thieves. These breaches are not just isolated incidents. They are part of a larger pattern of systemic failure to protect our privacy. But hey, at least we can still post that cute selfie with the dog filter, right? It's a small consolation in the grand scheme of things, but it's one that many of us cling to. We trade our privacy for convenience, for entertainment, for the fleeting validation of a like or a comment. The truth is, our privacy is eroding faster than ever. And we're often complicit in our own digital demise. We accept the terms and conditions without reading them. We click allow on permissions without a second thought, and we share our lives online without considering the long-term consequences. It's time to start asking ourselves, what's the true cost of our online presence? Is the convenience of social media worth the loss of our privacy? Are the likes and shares worth the constant surveillance? These are questions we need to grapple with as we navigate the digital age. Are we willing to sacrifice our privacy for the sake of convenience or a few fleeting moments of online validation? The choice is ours, but it's a choice that comes with significant consequences. As we move forward, we need to be more mindful of the trade-offs we make and the impact they have on our privacy. It's time to reclaim our privacy and take control of our digital lives. Remember that time your crazy uncle shared an article about how the Earth is flat? It seemed laughable at first, right? But then you started noticing more and more people talking about it, sharing similar articles, and even joining online communities dedicated to this bizarre belief. It's astonishing how quickly such misinformation can spread and gain traction. Or that meme claiming vaccines cause autism. It's a classic example of how a simple, catchy image can distort scientific facts and create widespread panic. These memes are designed to be easily shareable, preying on our fears and uncertainties. Yeah, misinformation is everywhere these days, and social media has become its playground. Platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are rife with misleading posts, half-truths, and outright lies. The sheer volume of content makes it difficult to sift through and find the truth. It spreads like wildfire, fueled by algorithms designed to keep us engaged, even if that means serving us a heaping plate of lies and propaganda. These algorithms prioritize content that generates strong reactions, whether it's anger, fear, or shock, because that keeps us clicking and scrolling. Fake news, conspiracy theories, manipulated images. It's all fair game in the online attention economy where outrage and emotional manipulation reign supreme. The more sensational the content, the more likely it is to go viral, regardless of its truthfulness. The problem is, it's getting harder and harder to distinguish fact from fiction. With so many conflicting sources and opinions, even the most discerning individuals can find themselves questioning what's real and what's not. We're bombarded with so much information from so many sources that it's easy to get swept away by the tide of misinformation. The constant influx of news, updates and posts can be overwhelming, making it difficult to process and verify each piece of information. And once those false beliefs take root, they can be incredibly difficult to dislodge. People often cling to misinformation because it aligns with their pre-existing beliefs or because it's been reinforced by their social circle. So the next time you see a shocking headline or a too-good-to-be-true story, take a moment to pause and consider the source. Is it credible? Is it biased? Look for multiple sources and check the credentials of the authors. Critical thinking and skepticism are your best tools in the fight against misinformation. Or is it just another piece of clickbait designed to manipulate your emotions and keep you scrolling? Remember, in the digital age, your attention is a valuable commodity. Don't let it be hijacked by those who seek to mislead and manipulate. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and always question what you see online. Remember, like and subscribe.